Alright, so in the previous video we have discussed how to implement these body size limitations, and now let's take a look at database related attacks. And now maybe let's consider NoSQL injections. So NoSQL query injection means basically sending NoSQL queries within your payload, right? So this is very dangerous because if some unauthorized person exposed or maybe obtained your API payload definitions, and if he try to inject sort of queries by using your payload, then most of the time your system is at stake, right? So even right now we can simulate sort of a attack. So this attack is known as a NoSQL query injection, and it's quite simple, right? Yeah, you don't know about that yet, but yeah. So it is quite simple to invoke such an attack. So all you have to do is that the API calls like this, logging calls or something like that. If that server is using NoSQL, so the NoSQL definitions can be attached through your payload like this. So for example, let's say instead of this email string, if I specify it as let's say greater than, or this would be string greater than empty, right? So this is a specific way of writing your SQL or NoSQL queries, and if you specify your email like this, and password can be basically anything, right? Just simply send to your server. Yeah, maybe the password should be there, but simply send it to the server, so it will basically give all the details of that specific user, right? So not only this user, actually, if the system has quite a lot of users, this will be the issue. So for example, let's say let's create another user maybe. So let's say this is Dhanushka 1 with a different password, maybe I don't know, something like that. So let's say this is Dhanushka 1. Let's create that user as well, and yeah, you go to the user login again, and this is my previous account, right? So simply send it. Yeah, again it says password is not matching, but simply let's paste that password again and send it. Yeah, now it gives all the details of that user, right? Which is not quite good, right? So you don't need to aware of email of a specific user. All you have to do is to know, or maybe to try some sort of a password, right? So this is quite dangerous because let's say in some brute force attack, if you find a password that is matched with any email, right, all the details will be exposed like this, right? And you haven't even know the email of that user, but in the payload it simply exposed that details. So now you have the password and now you have the email, so you can obtain these two values as a user request, and you can invoke this login API again with this email, and you can basically grab the token as well, and you can access all the other resources as an unauthorized person. So this is known as a NoSQL query injection, and in order to prevent this stuff, there is a package called Express Mongo Sanitize. So let's try to use it. So npm I Express Mongo Sanitize. Okay, now we can construct this. Let's say Mongo Sanitize, and simply require it like this, and we can use this Mongo Sanitize inside our application. So let's say maybe after the rate limiting and all, maybe over here we can place the fourth security practice, which is prevent NoSQL query injections. So app.use Mongo Sanitize. Right, now that package has been used. So if I try to now log in again, it won't let me, because now it read the payload and it identifies this email character as an unauthorized, or let's say in a harmful manner, and it will simply says, okay, the status has been failed, and the message is this. So it is an invalid ID or something like that. But if I enter a real email and the password, so I think it's Dhanushka1@gmail.com if I am correct, and it will grant me the access, right? Right. So that's how we can prevent NoSQL query injections. So it is really important to address those stuffs as well, because a lot of developers out there can develop awesome APIs by using these Express and stuff, but without using proper security practice, those stuff will be vulnerable, right? So yeah, that's how we can implement NoSQL query injections related security upholders. Right, and thank you, and I will see you in the next video.